In a house that had seen better days, there was a dusty mirror hanging crooked in an old hallway. It was one of those ornate mirrors with a silver frame and a beveled edge that made you feel like royalty. When you stood before it and stared directly into its depths, only this mirror no longer held any charm. It was too tarnished to make anyone feel like royalty. In fact, the only thing it really made you see was how very unflattering the hallway lighting was. But every so often, if you stood very still and closed one eye, you could just about make out the faintest glimmer of a reflection, a face from long ago. The face of a young girl who would stand in the same spot and stare at her own reflection, brushing her hair, pouting, sulking, or giggling with delight, and then she would turn and walk away, disappearing around the corner and into the next room. And the mirror kept its secrets close, safe within its dusty depths, remembering the smiling face, the tearful face, the dancing face, but never telling a soul. One day, years later, a young woman was exploring the dusty attic when she came across a trunk filled with old photographs and trinkets from days gone by. As she sifted through them, she came across a small, faded photograph of a little girl who looked strikingly similar to her. The girl in the photo was standing in front of the very same mirror in the hallway. She took the photo downstairs and hung it on the wall next to the mirror. Every morning when the young woman woke up, she would stand in front of the mirror and imagine what it must have been like for her great-grandmother all those years ago. When she first moved into this house, what dreams did she have? What hopes and fears did she keep hidden? What secrets did she whisper to the mirror? One morning, as the woman stood there lost in thought, she could have sworn she saw a flicker of movement in the glass. She blinked, but when she looked again, there was nothing there. Just her own confused reflection staring back at her. Had she imagined it? Was it just a trick of the light? Or was the mirror really trying to show her something? As the weeks went by, the woman began to see more and more glimpses of the girl in the mirror. At first, they were only flashes of movement, a quick brush of a hand against the glass, the rustle of a skirt, the flutter of an eyelash. But then the images became more solid, more defined. The woman could see the girl more clearly now. She saw her dancing in front of the mirror, twirling and leaping and laughing. She saw her crying, her face buried in her hands, her shoulders shaking with sobs. She saw her arguing with a man whose face was obscured by the darkness. The woman was frightened, but she couldn't look away. She was transfixed by the images in the mirror, desperate to know more. But the mirror wouldn't tell her anything. It only showed her these fragmented, distorted memories, and then it went silent again, leaving her with more questions than answers. Who was this girl? What had happened to her? And why was she only showing herself to this woman now after all these years? The woman continued to watch the mirror day after day, hoping for some kind of resolution, some kind of explanation, but the mirror remained silent, its secrets buried deep within its dusty depths. Then one day, the woman came home from work to find her young daughter standing in front of the mirror. The little girl was tracing her fingers along the glass, making faces at her own reflection. The woman smiled. It was a strange feeling, seeing her daughter in the same spot where she had been standing just moments before. She walked over and put her arms around her child, burying her face in her hair. She felt a sudden surge of love and protectiveness. This little girl was her entire world. She would do anything to protect her, anything to make sure she grew up happy and healthy. And as she stood there hugging her daughter, the woman knew that this moment, this precious, fleeting moment, was a gift. She didn't know how long it would last. So she held her child close and whispered, "I love you," knowing that this was a secret the mirror would never keep.